Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. We're going to do the three beans again. This is three beans, and this is the bourbon barrel aged version of the three beans. I did the regular version many moons ago, guys, when three beans first come out from Sixpoint. And now I think they got I've done their four beans, and I think now they even got a 5-bean version out, which I have not done, I don't think. So this is the 3-bean bourbon barrel version. And like I said, I don't think the last one I had was a bourbon barrel version of this beer. This was sent to me by my brother Rico, and he writes, 2017, 3 beans, bourbon barrel aged, 10.10%. It's a Baltic porter brewed with cocoa husk, aged in Widow Jane bourbon barrels and blended with cold brewed Guatemalan Finca El Injerto coffee. Purchased a 4-pack for $15. Has both the vintage year and the best before date on the bottom, which is what Sixpoint's doing now. Best before date is at 11/7/20. So they're giving this a 3-year shelf life, and it's brewed with coffee. I don't know if a beer brewed with coffee is going to keep that long, guys. And on top of that, they're barrel aging it, which usually lets the coffee subside. I'm just not a fan of cellaring a coffee beer that long. Usually, if they put it in a bourbon barrel, the coffee's already faded by the time they put it in a bottle or the can. And he tells me, I'll be honest with you, he was not impressed with this one. And a lot of times that will have something to do with putting it in a bourbon barrel. You don't put coffee beers in a bourbon barrel. Now, a lot of them do well. A lot of them do not. The coffee fades while it's in the bourbon barrels, and you don't get that big up-in-your-face coffee aromas or taste. So I was impressed with this when I did the regular version many moons ago. So let's see what the bourbon barrel aged version does. Like I said, Sixpoint, they're out in Brooklyn, New York, I think. 10.10%, and I don't have the IBUs here listed here, guys. So we're going to find out together what this brings to the table. Commercial description on Untappd says the original 3-bean recipe came from ancient texts which describe Baltic brewers making beer with beans. For this special barrel-aged version, the mad scientists carefully calibrated the beer with cold brew coffee, rich chocolate, and notes of oak and bourbon to round out the profile. Imperial porter with Romano beans, coffee, and chocolate aged in Widow Jane bourbon barrels. So let's get it on. Final beer of the evening for me. So let's see what this brings. They use these little skinny cans, little girly cans I call them, but it is a 12 ounce and a 16-ounce size, but it only holds 12 ounces. And it's got that information like he said on the bottom. They don't give us the IBUs, but it does say barrel aged porter with cocoa husk and coffee added. So I wouldn't want to sell this beer very long, guys, because of coffee. If it didn't have coffee in it, I'd say you could sell it for a long time. But it does. So let's see what this has to offer. Food pairing says cuisine is barbecue. The cheese is the earthy Camembert Spontina, the meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware to pint, Becker, Nonic, tumbler, mug, stein, Sidel. I'm using my favorite tulip glass. And of course, being a big beer, the beer advocate says you can sour it. So, not so sure I would agree with that, especially since it has coffee added. So hopefully we're going to get some coffee notes on this beer. If not, I'm going to tell you. About a quarter finger of head on that pour. It is pretty dark. Maybe a slight hint of some red rubbiness around the thin part. Otherwise, it is pretty dark beer, guys. To the nose we go. Wrist roasted malt. Maybe a little bit of cocoa. Very subdued. I'm not getting any bourbon. I'm not getting any coffee. A little disappointed in the aroma. And these guys usually do pretty good stuff. But like I said, a lot of the times when you do a coffee beer and then you put it in a bourbon barrel, you're going to lose those coffee notes. And depending on how long they left it in the bourbon barrels will depend on how much bourbon you're going to get. So, I'm not getting either one right now. Well, let's dive in and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Bittersweet chocolate. Definitely getting some of the cocoa from the cocoa husk. Might be a slight hint, ever so slight hint of some bourbon in there. Not much coffee. Just a very slight hint of some coffee. If you're expecting a big Sumatra espresso style coffee beer, you're going to be disappointed here, guys. And it's right out of the fridge, and as it opens up, we're probably going to get a little more coffee. May even get a little more bourbon in the taste as it comes with the room temperature. Every time I put my nose to it, I can detect a little bit more coffee. But it's not off the chain coffee. I am getting some coffee now. It's got a very nice aroma though. The more it sits in the glass here, the more coffee that I'm getting. So I've got a feeling once it comes up to room temperature, I'm going to get a considerable amount of coffee on this beer. But the bourbon is still kind of subdued, so. I don't know how long they left it there. And it may be exactly where they wanted it. They might not have wanted the bourbon overpowering anything, and they might not have wanted the coffee overpowering anything. So let's let this warm up straight out of the fridge and let her taste it, and we'll sip on it for a tad and see what we end up with. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sitting on it for a while now. Not quite as impressed as I was with the regular version I did many moons ago. The bourbon is kind of subdued. The coffee is kind of subdued. I thought the regular version was a little bit tastier than this because they wasn't touting that it was a bourbon barrel version. And I don't remember if the original one was done with coffee or not. But if it was probably a little more prominent, not being in bourbon barrels and setting forever, however long they let it set in the bourbon barrels. I just don't think coffee does well after it goes in a bourbon barrel. There are exceptions to that rule, but this one, and it may be exactly where they wanted it to be, guys. I mean, this may be exactly where they wanted to end up. Now it's a little warmer. I am getting subdued hints of coffee, and I am getting subdued hints of the bourbon. But it is not off the chain on either one of those categories, guys. So I can see why Rico said what he said. It's not off the chain bourbon, it's not off the chain coffee. Just enough to let you know that it's there. And when I'm buying or paying for a bourbon barrel beer, I would like to taste that bourbon a little more prominent than when I am here. And if I'm buying something that has coffee, I would like to taste that a little bit more than what I'm tasting here. So that's where we're going to leave it. Final choke. Very nice beer, a very well done beer. The alcohol is super well hidden for a 10.10%. Very easy drinking for that magnitude of a beer. But if you're expecting off the chain bourbon or coffee, you're probably going to be a little disappointed with this. Just enough, once it comes up to room temperature, to let you know that it's there. I mean, it's very subdued. That's where I'm going to leave this, guys. I do think it's a well-made beer. I'm going to give this a minus 90 in the scales, where I'm going to put this. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.18. That is also in their A- range. And over to Untapped, they have it at 4.09, also in their A- range. So it's an A- beer all the way around. It's unanimous. If you've had this one, the bourbon barrel aged version of the 3 beans from Sixpoint, let me know what you think of it. And until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.